Welcome back, everybody. It's another week, another episode of Lyre.
Can't wait to see what our good boy ends up doing today.
More confidently walking into bathrooms naked already.
Listen,
It's a power
I wasn't
move.
complaining.
I forgot to censor this game. Oh no, it's fine. I'll do it at some point, so that I don't have to do it all manually in the editing later.
Is there a censor?
There is not.
Oh.
Well, there's adult mode, but I think that just skips entire scenes.
Yeah. What I can do is I can just go into the sprites and I can just actually just paint over the dick on all of them in image editor, and that if you override the images so that the new image is still named the same thing, then it'll just replace it. So I can just manually censor the sprite of our wolf boy, but I forgot. I am trying to write my own visual novel this month. I'm doing November, which is going to be a process. Writing's weird. Writing fiction is really weird. Like,
do you need any beta testers?
Maybe, but first I need to at least get a version of the script all done and all that. But it's funny because, like, I feel like every time I write anything, I have to like start over and teach myself how to do it again, and like it never feels like I'm just getting infinitely like I never feel good at it. But with like video essays and stuff, you're like, you know, you're making an argument, so you know whether or not the argument is good or if it seemingly makes sense, and you can build stuff like very structurally. But narratively, there's so much vibes based shit about like, is this paced right? Should this scene be longer or shorter? Does this feel like characters? Is this like natural dialogue?
Yeah.
Do these characters embody ideas? Is any of this good? It's very weird.
And in my experience with visual novels is until you actually have the visuals that you're going to get like a clear, concise like answer for it, because some people might have different readings just without having any of the visuals or the music or the effects.
Yeah. It's a weird process. Also, like, I feel like I can never tell if I'm writing well in general, but in this case it's like weird because I'm writing something that's like primarily dialogue and in the present tense, and those both make things feel weird too. Also, this table looks like an ice cream sandwich.
Oh no, cannot see.
Now I want an ice cream sandwich.
I hope that's a cloth, because that
wait.
Imagine just a dinner table where there is literally no leg room. You just gotta get your shins right up to that sucker.
I think it's like there's like a wooden platform thing on top, and beneath that is a tablecloth. Yeah. That's hanging down. But yeah, I was just staring at this while I was talking. I'm like, this looks like an ice cream sandwich. The door swings open and a warmly lit dining room meets my eyes. My controller's not on. There you go.
Are you going to do this quick time events?
There we go. There's a large wooden table in the center with 3 chairs. I look to my left and see the other chairs have been stacked up against the wall. Cabinets and chests line this wall underneath the curtained windows. Straight ahead of me is a large painting of a table full of food and butchered meats. It looks like a royal pantry, game strewn about and hanging from racks. A large chandelier hangs from the ceiling right above the table, illuminating the room with a soft glow from the candles. Despite all of this, the room does look fairly simple, albeit very comfortable. After taking everything in, I'm immediately drawn to the men in the room who stand to greet me. Hi, Louis.
Oh.
There, standing next to the chair at the end of the table, is a large deer. The king. King Louis. His antlers are tall and elegant. A crown with the crest of Tigrin framing the base of each one. The shimmering green gem at the top of the crown matches his bright green eyes. He's clad in a large fur coat made up of green and purple fabric. Whose fur? It's the fur of those who have failed him.
Oh, Jesus.
It's the previous guard captain.
It is, like, almost the same color. It's concerning.
He was shorn ass first. He's almost as tall as Lyle. Taller if you count the antlers. Height aside, he has a very kingly body. I imagine kings looking fat. I look to the right side of the table and see another deer. This must be the crown prince. He's not nearly as tall as his father, almost coming up to my height. The antlers on his head are perfectly symmetrical prongs. He's wearing neat clothing of a similar color. He has a cape draped over his shoulder, pinned down with the crest of Tigran. His demeanor is dismissive, and he barely makes eye contact with me as I enter the room. I turn my gaze back to the king and lower myself to one knee, bowing my head. King Raynar, it is an honor to meet you. He has a tired look on his face, but there's a warmth to his voice when he replies. It is good to see that you have recovered from your injuries, Lord Richter. I am so terribly sorry about what happened to you on your journey here. Yes, it was an unfortunate event. I am very grateful for the welcoming hospitality that you and your staff have shown me. He gives me an understanding nod and gestures towards the prince. This is my son and heir, Prince Audrey. I give a bow in his direction, hoping that I'm showing the right amount of courtesy. It is a pleasure to meet you, Your Highness. He grimaces for a moment, clearly uncomfortable with the situation, then straightens up. Who's going to be him?
You said this was me, right?
Take it away, Jericho.
Likewise, my lord. I'm glad to see you are well.
There's a short moment of silence between us, which is broken by the king. I take it my captain has been helpful. He's always been a good lad. He gestures towards Lyle, who is standing in the doorway. Lyle shrugs his shoulders and smiles. Very helpful, yes. A great first impression. That's good to hear. I knew that Captain Reed would do well with this task. Even though I'm looking in the king's direction, I can still hear Lyle's tail wagging furiously.
Puppy!
That's his entire motivation in life. Thank you very much, Lyle. Please, Lord Richter, take a seat. It takes a moment for my legs to muster up the courage to work again as I walk around the table, passing by Audrey. As I'm making my way to my seat, I hear the door close and realize that Lyle has gone quietly left. Or he has quietly left. He didn't go to the left. We take our seats, and I set the box of scrolls and letters in my lap. I feel so out of place and awkward. There is another moment of silence before Raynar speaks up. I hope that your accommodations are adequate. The royal apartments are a bit old, but we like to keep them cozy, especially as the cold winds draw near. He rests his hands on the table, leaning back in his chair. They are more than adequate, Your Majesty. He draws back with a small frown on his face. Oh, please. You can refer to me as just Raynar. I would like to dispense with the formalities when not in public. If it pleases you. Lyle wasn't kidding. This is the most casual king I've ever met. How many have you met? Aren't you like 20?
Yeah.
Kind of been a long, illustrious career if every time you go to another kingdom it takes you like a month or something. I'm half expecting him to kick his hooves up on the table. My queen is the no-nonsense type, so I'm not used to this.
What is that you have there?
He nods towards the box in my lap, resting his chin upon his hands with a curious look on his face. Oh, yes. I pick up the small box and place it on the table close to Raynar. These are some important documents that were sent with me to deliver to you. Financial reports, some settlements, news about other territories, and other letters of intelligence. I figured that I should give these to you while I had the audience. He motions with his hand for me to slide the box his way. I push the box in his direction and he examines the documents. Is this everything? I fold my hands together. This is all that we could salvage after the crash. I have a list of the missing documents and I'll have copies delivered. Lowercase I. I apologize if some of them are a bit too dirty or water damaged. He opens one of the letters and skims over it before placing it on top of the small pile in the box. I thank you for bringing these to me. I shall go through these later and share these documents with the rest of my court so that you can evaluate them. So that they can evaluate them. He pushes the box off to his right and places his hands on the table. There's a long silence before Andre... How do we think this is pronounced?
I think it's Adrius. That's how it's
Adrius.
Generally heard.
Adrius.
Is there a place where it's silent S?
French? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just guessing. Pronunciation's fucked up, especially if you don't know what the context is for the name.
You got through Glory Hounds, you can do Lyre, I'll say that much.
There was a video that said how to pronounce them all.
That there was.
Which was sent to me directly by the creator.
I still couldn't do it even after watching the video. It's just too many.
That was a challenge. Adrius, that makes sense. Unless... There's a long silence before Adrius lightly slaps his hands on the table in resignation, blowing out an exasperated sigh.
So that's it? A glance at a piece of paper, and that's all you have to say?
The mood of the room instantly changes for a moment. And for a moment I'm too shocked to even sink into my chair. As I said, I will look at these documents later.
Why not look at them now?
Because I can't read, okay?
Oh, damn.
I'm sure Lord Richter wouldn't mind. Would you?
He looks in my direction and I shake my head. Not at all. Raynar clicks his tongue and turns to me, drumming his fingers on the table. I would prefer to wait. I'd hoped to delay this meeting until Lord Kadaj arrived, but...
But we have a kingdom to rule.
Raynar has a stern look on his face as he stares his son down from across the table.
Unless you've forgotten.
Raynar looks at Mai with a small eye roll. My son has a knack for theatrics. He then turns back to Adrius. I have a kingdom to rule. And 2 other kingdoms to work with. If I see it as best to wait until both parties are here before discussing such matters. He passed the top of the box with his hand. Then this is what I shall do. Adrius grits his teeth for a moment, then reluctantly concedes.
Of course, father. I only have our kingdom's best interests at heart. Do as you wish. I just hope that the Iranian doesn't expect things to be this relaxing all the time.
Adrius says this with a passive-aggressive smile while nodding in my direction. I try not to show any signs of discomfort and decide to just nod. Raynar leans back in his chair with a look of content on his face. Of course not. Since we are still waiting on our ambassador from Driz, I assumed that we could instead use this time for introductions. And then we can do them all again when he gets here.
Yep.
He looks at me with a reassuring smirk. I'm still recovering from the random burst of tense energy, so I just make a noise of agreement. After a few minutes, the doors swing open, 2 servants holding them open from either side. 3 servers walk in, pushing rolling carts with food placed on them. The wheels squeak as they make their way up the table. That's a big bird. Some potatoes, some bread, some Final Fantasy 14 grapes, poisoned wine, guess which one? 2 carrots that are pointed away from all of the people sitting at the table.
Yeah, I guess this does. We're kind of immediately dispelling with the like herbivore or carnivore argument here. They're clearly all omnivorous because they do just look at the. Well, yeah, when I think of like just the plate of 2 sad carrots, I'm like, I guess if you're a deer king, like,
I wonder
what a feast.
I wonder how many animals do eat meat anyway, and so on. There's a thing that's been brought up a billion times because of my Beastars essay, but like, right. Even within Beastars, it's kind of a false dichotomy between herbivores and carnivores. Not only just because there's a bunch of omnivores that the story struggles to put in the story, but also like a lot of like in that story they have Louis eating meat and they frame it as like basically poison, like he's like forcing himself to do something that his body can't handle. But I think in real life, deer will just eat meat.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Like every herbivore is an opportunistic carnivore.
Yeah, and everyone's like a lot of people seem like horrifying with videos of just like, oh, there's a little yellow chick running around in a
yes, the horse.
Yeah, running around in a farm, and then the horse just vacuums it up. You're like, there you go.
Exactly.
I'm like, well, so horses eat meat, and deer eat meat. And I'm like,
it's so
a lot
upsetting.
of these things eat meat. They just don't hunt. Maybe we're all hyenas deep down.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know which ones, but like there's a lot of random arbitrary stuff with food, so who knows. Like in real life, dogs can't eat grapes. I'm like, immediately I'm like, what are the type advantages and disadvantages of all these Pokemon? like how do you keep track of this? I wouldn't want to gamble. They begin to move all the food from the carts and place them in the center of the table. There's a large roasted turkey sitting in the center, surrounded by greens and potatoes. They smell delicious, and I can see the steam visibly coming off of them. A large bowl with a salad is placed on the table, tossed and filled with many colorful vegetables. The lettuce is layered perfectly and is drizzled in oils and vinegar. Grapes of a rich purple color are placed on a plate near the center, and there are bowls of different dressings. There's also a plate of crisp bread rolls. The smell reminds me of the bakeries back home. Just looking at them, I can imagine the cracking sounds the crust would make when breaking them. It's making my mouth water just to look at all of it. Finally, a large pot of soup is set next to the table on a rolling cart. With this, the servers begin to make our plates.
Would you like the soup or the salad tonight, my lord?
I'm going with the teapot from Beauty and the Beast.
I quickly scan the table again and give my answer. I'm fine with anything, it all looks great. The least helpful answer. It's me. I watch them take a little bit of everything and place it on my plate. One of the servers walks forward with a pitcher of wine and fills my cup. After a while, everyone has been served their food. It's a lot. I don't know if I'll be able to eat it all, but I just figure I'll eat as much as I can. It would be rude to not show my appreciation. Raynar's plate has a big steamed potato and a salad bowl, with a bushel of grapes on the side. Adrius opted for a single bowl of soup with a small roll of bread. Raynar quickly cuts into his potato while plucking a few grapes to chew on. Adrius barely makes any noise drinking his soup with content eyes. I take a bite of the turkey, and the flavor is shocking. It's wonderful. This turkey is like nothing I've ever eaten before. It might as well be a completely different bird. I take a few more bites before Raynar speaks up. So, how are things in Erin? I haven't been to the Kingdom of Erin in about 10 years. I take a moment to finish the chewing the piece of turkey in my mouth. I'm afraid you haven't missed out on much. Aaron hasn't changed, and I don't think it will change for a while. You were like 12 10 years ago. I don't know if you have the perspective. The climate is as favorable as ever, and our citizens continue to thrive. I fear that I'm rambling when I make eye contact, I see that he's given me his full attention and seems interested in the topic. Meanwhile, the prince sits across from the table from me, picking away at his soup with a look of disinterest in his face. I'm told that Aaron has managed to supply both Driz and Lyre with an abundance of food. We are fortunate to have such fertile farming lands, and very glad to be able to support our neighboring kingdoms. Especially with winter drawing near. Winter is coming. Raynar takes a sip of wine and leans back into his chair. There's a pleased smile on his face. I agree with you on that matter. It is very important that we work together. Adrius lets out a slight cough, which doesn't seem to faze Raynar. The people of Lyre know better than anyone how harsh winter can be. I'm sure that you do. Do you have a wall of ice nearby that I should know about? Just like a little to the north. He gives a slight smile and leans forward, taking a bite from his salad. And we have your kingdom to thank for this food. I nod in agreement, tipping my wine glass in his direction. We continue to eat while having conversations about our common interests. Pog collections. You know. He seems to be very interested in me, which is new because I've never thought that I was that interesting. I guess being in this castle all the time would make him want to live vicariously through others. So, you go from kingdom to kingdom, talking to kings all the time. That's a change of pace for me.
How am I doing, comparatively?
There's a stretch, though. That's a stretch, though, and I might be overanalyzing. I try to answer his questions to the best of my ability, but I don't feel like I have any good answers. The prince has been quiet for most of the time, interjecting with his thoughts occasionally.
So, where exactly did you come from? How did someone like you achieve nobility?
He asks this with a look of disdain. Someone like me? I'm starting to dislike him more and more as the night goes on.
This sprite always comes up to me as like the most Paro Itagaki, with the upper lip hanging down over the entire mouth is such a like pouty dear boy.
Yeah. Maybe he's just blurting things out without meaning to be rude. I lower my glass after taking a long drink of wine and pause to swallow. Your Highness, I'm afraid that is not a very interesting story. He doesn't look satisfied with that answer. Good. Lyle told me to get on his good side, but I don't think he has one. He seems to be bitter all around.
Suppose. Though, I wasn't asking for an interesting story.
He traces his finger around the rim of his wine glass while resting his chin on his fist. I just worked hard and proved myself useful. Speaking of hard work, I have some important news for you, Lord Richter. I am choosing to appoint you as the Royal Financial Advisor, along with your other duties. Do you think that you will be up to this challenge? It is a temporary position, nothing more. Financial advisor? So I'll be looking after the kingdom's coin? In a different kingdom?
Yeah.
At least it's something I have some common knowledge on. I've always been good with numbers, and I was never terrible with spending money. I'm just imagining the logistics of like going to somebody else's kingdom as an ambassador, and the king's like, "I think I'll keep you. You work here now." I'm like, At least I don't see myself ruining this kingdom financially.
You're 19.
I fold my hands and try to respond calmly. I have experience with this sort of work back home. It shouldn't prove to be a challenge at all. He looks overjoyed to hear this. This is his overjoyed face. Was he expecting me to say no? I'm not exactly going to say no to the king. This is excellent news. The Winter Solstice Ball will be held a month from now, and it will need you to figure out the expenses. It should be quite exciting for you, considering you've never been to one. The Winter Solstice Ball? Yes, here in Lyre it is one of our most famous celebrations. We celebrate the solstice as a reminder of the death and rebirth of our sun. So we're here at minimum until the peak of winter. Isn't the solstice the longest night of the year or something?
The shortest. The winter solstice?
Yeah.
It's the shortest.
Oh, I said the longest night.
Oh, longest night, yeah.
Because one is the coldest. And winter's not even here yet, so we're committed apparently. We use this time to cherish our loved ones. I think I remember hearing about this from somewhere. It sounds like a nice tradition. Similar to one we have in Erin, but ours is at the end of the year. I'll make sure that everything is in order. Very good. We have past records on hand that you can refer to. They should help make things easier. I'll have them sent to your apartment in the morning. Our meal goes further into the night, and soon everyone has finished eating. Raynar has completely cleaned his plate to the point where one would wonder if it was even used. I look down at my own plate, having a small amount of food left on it. I would finish it all, but I feel too full to eat anymore. I can feel a cold draft from the windows behind me, and hear crickets chirping outside. I believe that was an excellent meal. However, it's time for me to retire to my chambers. I'm afraid I've been awake since the 5th hour of this morning. Raynar gets up from his seat and steps forward, holding out a large hand. I'm taken aback by this gesture, but reach forward. He takes my hand in both of his and shakes it up and down once with a firm grip. It was a pleasure to meet you, Lord Richter. I can tell getting to know you will be hard, so we'll have to do this again. Of course. I do hope that you enjoy your stay here, however long it may be. I don't know how I'd react to somebody saying to my face, I can tell you're going to be hard to get to know. Like, by the way, socially, you did all of this wrong. This entire thing we just had? No. Socially, you need to be different now.
Do better.
Thank you, your Raynar. I gather myself and look toward the prince, who is standing across the table. Gathering myself, I'm not overly distraught leaving his presence. Still, I try my best to be polite and give a bow in his direction. It was an honor to meet you, Your Highness. He gives me a slight smile. However, I don't feel that it's authentic. That makes two of us.
You're too kind. It was nice meeting you as well.
This little shit's gonna get up to something. Just immediately, something's up. One of the servers opens the door, and Lyle walks into the room. Good night, Lord Richter. Good night. I give a bow in both their directions, and then make my way to the door. Lyle stands near the doorway, and as I make my way over, he gives me a wink with a soft smile. We walk through the doorway, and I spot Raynar giving Adrius a despondent look before the door is closed. Lyle comes up to my side, smiling.
I assume everything went well?
He places his paw on my shoulder with a reassuring smile. Well, I wouldn't say that it went bad. You're looking at the new financial advisor.
That's good. I mean, I assume it's good.
Look at that picture.
Yeah.
Happy family, everybody.
There's something very anime about them, like looking in opposite directions, like shoulder to shoulder.
It's like they're at odds. It's foreshadowing. I'm about to respond when I spot a painting of Raynar and Adrius out of the corner of my eye. Raynar is looking off in the distance with a solemn look on his face, while Adrius confidently glares forward. I say the artist captured them perfectly. Me, I'm the artist. Those piercing orange eyes look as if they're following me. I see it as a good opportunity, and I don't think it should be too hard.
Okay, but how did dinner go? Dinner with the king? The food? The food. Was it good? I love this is like the dog coming through. Was it good?
Good? Dinner? Food?
Salivating.
The food was great, but I don't really know how to feel about it. Raynar's certainly a nice person. I can imagine that he is a good king. He's got an understanding head on his shoulders.
I agree. He's a great king.
It's all of the antler prongs. He catches a lot of signals.
He has wisdom and kindness unparalleled with others.
The prince, on the other hand.
Ooh.
This little shit. Lau rolls his eyes at the mention of the prince, laughing as he does.
He's not the most pleasant person to be around. And he surely doesn't treat me with any respect.
Really? We've moved over to one of the windows. He rests his paw on the sill, and one of his ears twitches slightly. I can feel the cold night breeze blowing through my hair and on my face.
I think he's called me by name once within the past few months. Then again, we don't talk much anymore.
Ooh.
What does he call you other than your name? Dog. Mutt. He sighs, tapping his paws on the bricks as he lists off each term.
Oh,
Wolf, dog, and hound, just to name a few.
He's the hound. He's afraid of fire. Well, that makes him ignorant. You're only one of those things.
Yep. Pure lyre. Oh god.
Lyrian.
Lyrian. Yeah, Lyrian Wolfman right here.
That's a lot. That's an upsetting amount of vowels in a row.
Stop the Y's. I can't.
He bangs his fist on his chest, clattering the metal plates together. I laugh, and he chuckles to himself timidly.
But I don't think he'll be a problem for you. Aside from being a little frustrating from time to time.
I'll steer clear of him either way. But I don't see that ending well. We continue to walk, with Lyle in front, leading me through the maze of corridors. I watch the tip of his tail brush the floor from under his cape. We descend a flight of stairs, and our walk begins to slow.
I'm glad that we can enjoy each other's company.
He shoots me a sheepish smile.
I only mean, it's nice that we're able to get along. Makes things a little easier.
He fiddles with one of his gloves, pulling the fourchettes off of his fingers, then pulling the glove back down on his paw by the trank. I know these terms.
I admit, what is a trank? I have no idea what that is.
Or a fourchette?
Yeah. It gets very lonely in this castle. It's hard to have friends when you're the captain of the Royal Guard. Things are nice, but I barely have any time to meet new people or go places.
He pauses, letting the words hang in the air.
I'm sorry if this comes off as a bit odd, considering I met you only yesterday, but I'm looking forward to working with you, Richter.
It comes across as touch-starved.
Yeah.
Baby.
It's just like relatively quick in the relationship. You're like, oh my goodness, dude.
I lose track
Listen.
of the progression of time in this a whole lot more than with like Adastra and stuff, because I think the implication of you like working. Well, no, I guess this is only the day after. Never mind. I take that back.
It's like day 2, so
This
you're
is the
like,
first day
I'm so
on the job.
lonely. You're like, oh
It's-
man,
yeah,
I know
buddy.
you just got really lonely.
He's
There are a
so-
lot of points in this VN where they just kind of jump ahead and it's like,
Yeah.
I worked
Yeah.
for some amount of time and now we're friends.
Moments where you're like, oh yeah, they are just 22, huh? As strange as it is, it's nice to hear something like that, especially coming from him. We arrive at the door to my room, and he stands there waiting for me to say something. I feel the same way. I've only known you for 2 days,
Oh, wow.
and I already
Yeah, there it
feel
is.
more comfortable around you than anyone else back home. Damn.
Really? Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Back in Erin, people only want things from you. And if you don't have what they want, then they don't give you the light of day. You're the first person who I feel wants to actually be my friend, and isn't just trying to use me. Ever? Damn. I open the door to my room and step inside. Good night, Lyle. He looks at me with a soft smile, his eyes reflecting the little light there, the little light that there is in this darkness. I can hear his tail beating against his cape as it wags back and forth.
Good night, Richter.
He closes the door, and I can hear his heavy footfalls make their way down the hall. I take off my jacket and walk over to my bed, falling onto the mattress. I feel exhausted after everything that happened today. Everything fades out around me as I drift into a deep sleep. Alright, so we just need to sit here for the next 8 hours. It's role-playing, it's immersive. How you guys doing?
Emily, after last time, I wasn't looking forward to more dreaming. Dreams don't go good when you're Richter.
You have to click?
Yeah, no, I'm fucking with you.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? The heck, it's so nice. Betrayal never comes from your enemies, but from those closest to your heart.
I guess like by nature. Alright, nice wait here for a while.
And it always starts with trust. Trust in no one but yourself.